Dark Aeons begin hunting Yuna only after Bevelle condemns her as a traitor. They imitate the Aeons from her pilgrimage, yet the real faith can still answer her call. Then, during the ending, Yevon possesses Yuna's genuine Aeons and changes them into the exact same dark forms. That resemblance gives us the foundation of their origin. A Dark Aeon is an external pyrefly manifestation that copies an Aeon's appearance and abilities without containing its faith. A controlling imprint related to Yevon's possession animates that copy. Bevelle chooses the target. Yevon's parasitic influence explains the darkness. We can call this process the possession of the dream. Yuna had already opposed Seymour, but no Dark Aeon pursued her before Bevelle. The change occurs at her trial. After she discovers that Yevon's highest leaders are unsent and questions the teachings, Mika brands her a traitor and declares that she cannot be allowed to live. Yuna is thrown into the Via Purifico, where Kinok orders Izaru to deal with the traitors. Izaru is a loyal summoner obeying the temple, and he commands his Aeons to attack her. Yet every one of them remains normal. This is the game's control case. Hostility does not create a Dark Aeon, and a church order alone is insufficient. Auron had already explained the limitation of Yevon's authority. The faith are the ones that give power to the summoners, not the temples or the teachings. Bevelle can command a loyal summoner such as Izaru. It has no direct ownership of the spiritual source behind his Aeons. Izaru's defeat therefore exposes a weakness in Bevelle's method, rather than weakness in the faith itself. Authentic summoning still depends upon a personal bond, the summoner's strength, and a faith capable of consent. From Bevelle's perspective, that autonomy is an unacceptable variable. Yuna defeats Izaru and escapes. Father Zook then reports Mika's personal order. Yuna and her guardians have been falsely accused of Kinok's murder, must be killed on sight, and can no longer enter temples safely. This is also the common story threshold after which the Dark Aeons begin appearing, although individual encounters have their own later conditions. Bevelle first attempts a conventional execution through an obedient summoner. It fails. The Church's next weapon removes the original faith from the process. An agent may still call it, but the construct does not need the dreamer's participation. Bevelle copies the Aeon's reproducible pattern, rebuilds it as an external pyrefly body, and installs a hostile command. This is the possession of the dream. The image and power remain, while the person behind them has been excluded. An Aeon can be understood through three components. The source is the faith, a human soul held in stone, continuing to dream. The manifested pattern is the recognizable body, element, and abilities produced when that dream becomes visible. The agency is the will directing the manifestation. In an authentic summoning, the faith willingly joins with a summoner. Pyreflies give the dream physical presence. Yet, pyreflies also react to memories and reproduce things that are no longer physically present. Dream Zanarkand demonstrates how complete such a reconstruction can become. The game never labels these as three formal components. It does, however, distinguish the original soul, the image reconstructed from memory, and the will controlling the result. Final Fantasy X-2 supplies the mechanism. Shu Yin is dead, and yet pyreflies preserved his appearance, hatred and misery, until those feelings began acting independently as a shadow. Pyreflies, therefore, can reproduce an identity without containing the original person. That shadow influences minds, occupies Nuge and Barrelai, and overwhelms the faith. Bahamut's faith later apologizes, explaining that they were dragged into darkness and could not stop him. A reconstructed will can enter other vessels and force spiritual manifestations to act against their intentions. Shuyin does not prove that Bevelle manufactured the Dark Aeons. He confirms that the required metaphysics exist. A remembered pattern can create an external imitation, and a preserved hostile impulse can control it. This also permits several Dark Aeons to exist while Yevon remains inside Sin. None needs to contain Yevon's complete soul or the faith it imitates. Each can carry a reproduced version of his compulsive pattern, copy an Aeon's identity, seize its power, and obey Yevon's assigned target. Their placement reinforces the purpose. Dark Valefor seals Besaid. Dark Shiva guards Macalania Temple. Dark Bahamut occupies Zanarkand, and other copies wait along Yuna's journey. Some appear through summoners, monks or temple-aligned guards. Others form prepared ambushes. In the Japanese version, each carries the prefix heretic. Defeating them all reveals penance, named Der Richter, the judge, in that version. A normal Aeon comes from a willing union between faith and summoner. A Dark Aeon is the possession of the dream, an external pyrefly construct copying that Aeon's appearance and abilities without containing the faith. Bevelle gives it a target. A Yevon-derived possession pattern gives it hostile agency. The final battle displays that same signature on genuine Aeons, while Final Fantasy X-2 proves that pyreflies can reconstruct identity and preserve an invading will. Dark Aeons are spiritual counterfeits. The Church copies the sacred image, leaves its original soul untouched, and fills the empty form with Yevon's command. Each one is an Aeon-shaped machine that never possessed a soul of its own.